Welcome to the latest edition of Evo Inspires. I'm Jason French, the Managing Director of Evolution Australia, and today I am joined by Geoff Tunbridge, the Head of Payment Technologies at Australian Payment Plus. So thank you, Geoff, for joining us. But before we get into it, why don't you give us a little overview of your career so far, mate?
Sure, thank you for your time. I started my career, 30 years ago on a help desk. Yes, you start your working life not knowing what's ahead. You don't even necessarily know all the roles that are out there. And just found a love for how people use technology. And I followed that through for the last, 30 odd years, moving from the UK to Australia and getting involved in payments, transactional banking and cash management, both for banks, for vendors, for consultancies, to end up where I am now at the heart of the payments industry in Australia.
Absolutely outstanding, mate. Thank you again for joining us. Let's get into it. What's the one piece of career advice you wish you'd received when you were starting out?
I think if I look about and think about all the roles, the one piece of career advice is take a breath before you say anything. We're all different, but we have a value here, lead from the heart, and that's me. I'm passionate about things. I believe in hypothesis testing. I have an analytical and scientific approach to things. And just that whole thing about, 2 ears, one mouth, but just taking that breath before you say anything. It is very easy to make assumptions, to jump to the right idea, but sometimes you need to take people on the journey and reading the body language, thinking about why someone might have said what they've said is really important. And I think, just taking that breath would have saved me probably some challenging conversations and probably would have kept more people on side most of the time.
Yeah. Takes a while to learn our lessons, doesn't it, mate?
And sometimes we never do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, the core part of what we do is communication, and absolutely 2 ears, one mouth, and that's a absolute synonymous with communicating. But as you mentioned, the body language, the motivation for why some people say certain things. I think it's one of the least focus areas of education and upskilling communication. I think everyone's focused on all these other things, but actually the core part of communicating is multifaceted, and we don't get taught that really, I think.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I do think there's this fine balance. I was very privileged early in my career to be sent on a training course that included active listening. And I still use a lot of it today. Yeah. Maybe sometimes not as much as I should. But we don't teach that. There is an assumption people know how to do many, many things now. And that assumption's wrong. People haven't had the training, the experience, and that doesn't necessarily conflict with the take a breath before saying anything. You can actively listen to someone and still jump in with a response. But we need to take people on the jet and we need to train them with the basic skills because we all have to work together. Business is a human interaction approach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Love that. Thank you very much, Geoff. What about a pivotal moment in your career journey that made a significant impact?
I think I'd like to bring up two, both a positive and a negative. The negative one was a long time ago. I'm privileged. I've only been made redundant twice in my life. But the first time it happened, it was a total shock. And it really made me focus on, and the phrase I use is always having a parachute. I didn't necessarily have a job offer from someone else in the back pocket each time now, but it made me engage with my industry. with stakeholders, with peers, with competitors, to actually have comfort that I knew of opportunities in the industry that when I was made redundant again, I was able to move on a bit better. So I would say from a negative perspective, just getting out there and having a parachute, it's not about being unloyal. It's actually helping you understand your value. The positive one, I'd say, was when I actually realized what I enjoy doing.
Thanks.
We love putting labels on things as human beings. And from a career perspective, you're at school, there's firemen, policemen, doctors, dentists, lawyers. When you get into the working world, there are thousands of other roles, but you still start putting a label on it. But actually, it was about understanding the skills I enjoyed using, what type of work I enjoyed doing. And that revelation actually helped me focus on finding roles I would enjoy, or within those roles, finding the parts of those roles I would enjoy. And therefore, where I would be stronger, more dedicated, more interested, and add the greatest value. And that really was the amazing insight to give me comfort about what I'm doing and where I'm at. Maybe from a professional perspective, it's almost like an artist discovering, yes, I'm going to paint full time. I found I love solving problems. I am by nature a solution consultant, a solution engineer. That's what I enjoy doing. And as long as there's some of that in a role, I'm going to be happy.
Very good, Jeff. Very good. Interesting. The parachute piece, I haven't heard that from anyone before as being impactful, but I absolutely understand why it was at the time you got your first redundancy. And then you're talking really about engaging with your network, which I don't think a lot of people do. I think that more and more are, but still there's a reluctance to do that sort of extra piece, after you've had a full day's work. But it's a necessity, isn't it?
It is, and it's about taking it to the level that's comfortable for you. I'm not a massive poster on LinkedIn or social media. When I've been active on LinkedIn particularly, it's been usually when it's part of marketing efforts for the company I'm working for.
Yep.
But bothering to reach out to people, have the odd coffee every now and again, a simple one, remembering people's birthdays. Your phone has the ability to put it in the contacts and remind you. But I found I'm a natural networker, despite being somewhat introverted. And it's not superficial networking. It is industry networking, but it's not going along to every event and being seen. It's knowing, you've changed jobs. How's it going? Or I see the market's growing. Is there opportunities? Just finding out what's happening and relating it to how I'm feeling in the role I'm doing, or maybe sometimes where the role I'm doing is going to go.
Yep.
And helping shape that. And I found it really important. And for probably 10, 15 years in the middle of my career, I didn't have to look for work. Work came and found me. And that was very... very good for your ego.
But you set yourself up for success, didn't you? You had an experience that wasn't comfortable, and then you thought, I'm not going to let that happen again. And then as by a little bit of proactivity, you've set yourself up for success. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Challenges and setbacks. We every day we get them, whether they're small or large. What's your go-to strategy for overcoming them in the professional workplace?
That's always a hard one, because I think situations demand different responses. But usually for me, it is take that 10, 15 minutes, go for a walk. It really is changing the environment you're in. I'm not someone who dwells on things long term, and therefore I don't have to take time over it. I feel lucky that I don't mind being proved wrong. maybe that's because I have a hypothesis approach. I love having a straw man. I put it up there. I will defend it because to me it's logical. If someone comes along with some better piece of information, oh, right, yeah, change my mind. And because of that, it's like, okay, right, well, I lost that battle. From a sales context, can I win the war? From a meeting or a work context, right, what's the next thing that's got to be delivered? It's almost the flip side of, there is a terrible saying, but unfortunately it's very true. We are all just a number. When accountants come in or consultants, we're just a number. But the flip side of it is, that means don't hold on too tight. Okay, you have it, let it go. What's the next thing? Because you still have to get up in the morning, you still got to do the work, unless you're going to walk away. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, just deep breath, shift it, come back to it later maybe, but don't hold on to it. Change your environment, bit of fresh air, bit of sunshine, or if it's raining, just seeing how the puddles and the splashes, bringing out your inner child, and then just saying, right, what's next? And it really is just keep moving on.
Yeah, it's just keep putting one foot in front of the other, mate. That's what we do, don't we? As soon as you stop and start dwelling on the situation, you lose effectiveness and efficiency. And it's such a simple philosophy, take a breather, step away, and get on with it. Get on with the next thing, because there's always going to be another thing. And how many things have we been through that we thought, this is the end? This is the end. I'm not going to be able to get through this.
And I think it's important to remember how you do it at work might not be how you do it in your personal life. I absolutely can catastrophize in my personal life. But at work, it's only a job. There is the next day. There are the next set of KPIs. There's the next month's figures. If you're in a sales role, you're going to lose some deals. Why did you lose it? Learn from it and really take to heart. You learn more by failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice spot to wrap things up, Geoff. Again, thank you very much for your insights, mate. I love your examples. I think there's some fresh ideas in there that I haven't heard before. So thank you, mate. We really appreciate your time.
More than happy. Thank you so much, Jason.